The pleasure of having a cocktail channel on YouTube. Sometimes we get to drink champagne at 1 in the afternoon, and we love it. Cheers, my love.
Cheers.
And by the way, guys, I apologize to all the champagne experts out there. I know we shouldn't be making that much noise when we pop a bottle of champagne, but today we're making the French 75, a cocktail named after a piece of artillery from the French army, a 75mm field gun who apparently led France to the victory during the Great War. So I think it is totally relevant, and it's kind of my guilty pleasure to make that bottle of champagne pop when I'm making that iconic cocktail. And today we're testing 2 recipes side by side. If you guys are ready, let's do it. Cheers. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining us again for this new cocktail video. Today is the Battle of the French 75. Because of the origin of the name, I thought it would be very fun to make some kind of a battle between 2 different recipes. But what recipe should we choose? Because you may not know that, but this cocktail was made in many different ways throughout the history. It went from gin, Calvados, grenadine, and lemon to eventually gin, lemon, sugar, and champagne. And around the 1940s, cognac took the lead and was used instead of gin. And that's the recipe that we're gonna focus on today. The first recipe that we're gonna make is the one using the most commonly known specs. The exact same thing as the majority of people do with gin, we're simply gonna use cognac instead. The second one is the recipe from Mr. Chris Hanna from the Arnaud's French 75 bar in New Orleans. He's been making heaps and heaps of French 75 for over 15 years, and he claims he perfected the recipe using cognac. So we're gonna use his recipe, we're gonna test it side by side with the most commonly known one, and we're gonna see how they compare. We're gonna start with the first one. We're gonna pour 1 ounce of cognac into a cocktail shaker. I'm using Hennessy VSOP because I think in this particular cocktail, it is very important to use a cognac that spent enough time into a barrel to develop complexity and enough sweetness and spices to battle with the lemon and the dryness of the champagne. I think Hennessy VSOP is just a perfect choice. Then we're gonna add 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, and 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Then we're gonna fill our shaker with ice and give it a good shake for about 10 seconds. So now we're gonna pour 2 ounces of champagne into our glass. This is a pro tip, always pour your champagne before. Because of its density, the cocktail is heavier, so when you're gonna pour it over the champagne, it's gonna blend perfectly. And it's gonna save you from having only champagne when you take your first sip if you do the other way around. So 2 ounces of champagne into our glass. I didn't measure the champagne because I know my flute contains exactly 2 ounces at the level of the edge right here, so I'm safe, I know it's 2 ounces. So now we're gonna fine strain the cocktail over the champagne. And we're gonna garnish it with a lemon zest that we're gonna express over the cocktail. We're gonna make it pretty to garnish it with it. And there you go, guys, the most commonly known specs for the French 75 using cognac. So now let's make Chris Hanna's recipe. You will see this one is pretty similar, but believe me, the small tweaks make a major difference. So we will start with 1 1/4 ounces of cognac into our cocktail shaker. 1/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, and 1/3 of an ounce of lemon juice. Now we're gonna fill our shaker with ice and once again give it a good shake for about 10 seconds. For the champagne, we're gonna pour 2 1/4 ounces of it. I always find it pretty hard to measure champagne into a jigger, so I'm gonna pour some all the way to my 2 ounces line here that I know of, and then I'm gonna add 1/4 ounce, measuring it with my jigger. But if at home you wanna jigger it, just make sure to wait for the bubbles to settle before pouring it. It's gonna make for a more accurate measurement. So, 2 ounces first. And 1/4 more. And once again, I'm gonna fine strain the cocktail over the champagne. We're also gonna garnish it with a lemon zest. I'm gonna express the oils. And we're gonna garnish it the same way. And there you go, guys. This is how we make Chris Hanna's recipe. So now let's taste them side by side. I'm gonna start with Chris Hanna's recipe because I know it's drier and in my opinion, it's more logical to start that way. So let's give it a try. It is indeed pretty dry, but I must say, I love it. The first thing that you get is some beautiful lemon notes from the lemon zest, and then you get the cognac, the vanilla, the spices, and kind of a sweet and round finish that is dried down by the champagne. It is not a very refreshing cocktail. If I can compare it to something else, I would say it's more similar to a sealback or a champagne cocktail with just a hint of lemon and sugar. It is really good, but you need to like spirit-forward cocktails, which is my taste. I really love it. Now let's try the second one, which was the first one from the video, the most commonly known specs of the French 75. Let's try it. Where's it? That's good. Okay, this one now. This is really good as well. Obviously the nose is pretty similar, almost exactly the same actually. Get some beautiful lemon notes from the lemon oils, and then for the taste though, it is very different. Even though the specs are almost the same, just a little less of cognac and champagne in this one, just a little more of lemon and simple syrup, and I mean just a little, makes a major difference in taste. This one, way more refreshing. This one, more spirit forward. So if you guys like more Tom Collins or mojitos, for example, I highly recommend you go for this one first. Sephra, for example, she prefers that one. In my opinion, this one is more suitable to my taste because I like spirit forward cocktails, but I'm never disappointed with those specs. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the like and the bell if you want to be notified when we post a new cocktail video. Until then, thank you very much again. Have a great day and see you very soon. Cheers. That one's yours.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.